Sorry for the interruption. We had a little technical difficulty as we were just talking about a little while ago and ran out of space.
We're gonna get better at this. It's my fault. Too many videos, too many pictures. So here we go. So we stopped at day one. So day one, I guess one of the major things that we had was the traditional territorial acknowledgement, which is the struggle that everyone has, is that people aren't listening to it anymore. So we really take time to, yes, as we talked about in our training, was to have someone in the group read it, but actually taking time to break it down and how does that relate to what's happening now, and does it have any meaning? Like, we literally asked them that, because we found in one of the territorial land acknowledgement that we have them read, it talks about genocide. Like, it actually uses the word genocide. And in a session, it became clear that some people totally missed that word. And so we had to really go back and think, okay, how meaningful is this? And we have had someone from one of our, from one of the local bands who said that, from Oneida, who said they don't like it. They don't like it how people are pronouncing the territories incorrectly. They just think it's taken on no meaning at all. So we really try to take time to break that down and have a good discussion about that.
And we do that for each of the 3 days.
Right. And then if there are things in the news that are current that tie to that, we talk about that. The other thing under guiding principles, and this is just my pet peeve, always talk about no cell phones.
Yeah.
The laptops is only when they're using it to access material for the training. That's it. Just because of the nature of the discussions, to have someone look over and see you texting somebody, not cool. And it's going to shut them down. The icebreaker, people love it. They love the name game. So what have we done? We
have incorporated a little game of our own going along with what's in a name. So Michelle and I introduce each other and we go back to where our names came from, which is related to some music, and we have a video of where my name came from, where Michelle's came from, and we show that. It brings about a bit of humor.
Steve Austin, Bionic Man.
Right here.
And then Michelle, the Beatles. So we add to that. They really love it. It's a great way to get them engaged. And what else do we do?
The other thing I quickly want to say is we've had a number of people the day of training or on day 2 or day 3 say, well, I'm going to be away for half a day or for a few hours. Is that okay? Can I make it up? We have taken a hard line. And we've said, no, if you miss any of it, it's not going to work for a number of reasons. The content, obviously, but more importantly, the group dynamics that are forming from day one onwards, and the trust. Any disruption in that can impact unintentionally the training and learning for everyone.
So we're a hard line with that. I put down the amygdala hijack emotional intelligence video. Okay, so we believe the whole amygdala hijack. We believe in that.
Amygdala. But maybe a different video.
We don't love
with
the
all
video.
due respect, that is.
We'll do our own research, and if we find a better video or something else, we will send that to you. We don't love it. After 5 sessions, we loved it less than we did at the beginning. We didn't like it at the beginning.
No, it just kept getting,
That's just us. Maybe you love it.
And that's
cool.
okay too.
That's cool. Power dominance, so 4 categories. So day 1 in the afternoon after lunch, when we break them up into the 4 different groups. And one thing we found really challenging was within the guide.
The instructor's
guide, when it's talking about, how does it break it down again?
It breaks it down into different...
So it's like
it's class,
right,
it's sexual,
social, the 3 sections, the way that we just basically cut and pasted it. So if we're talking about class, we're talking about all elements of
with
class.
Society, individual and institutional,
social, right.
or social.
As opposed to going under institutional. Here are them all listed, because you're literally flipping through. It's a pain.
So we just put them, we just copy and paste.
Here's race.
Yeah.
Individual.
For yourselves.
Social.
Right.
And then institutional. So that is a little thing, but it was a huge thing because it was really annoying, and that's the section that I've been presenting. So I found it really annoying. So I just cut and pasted, and things flow so much easier there, especially if you're thinking maybe we missed something, you can quickly reference it.
Right.
So yeah, day 1, It's
And
pretty
day
awesome.
one is really, at the end of day one is where we have found the group is a little, at the end of the day, more kind of reserved and quiet. They're at that point hopefully sitting in some of the yuckiness of discomfort. That's the better word, of what they're learning and how that impacts and how that has impacted their lived experience in their lives. So we have found that by and large at the end of day one there's a little bit more quietness.
Which is good that we have 3 days as opposed to when we did the AOP training, which was 2 days, because literally at that point they're stewing in it, but then they have another day to come back. And for some people, this is the first time they're engaging in these conversations ever on this level, at this depth. So it is good that they do have that day, they come back.
And what I would say to that is, and what I've said in the training, both of us, is to sit in that discomfort is important to the process. It's important that you don't get stuck there, but it's important that you sit in that for a period of time to appreciate how we have gotten where we are as a society.
So then it takes us to day 2. Day 2 seems to flow really well. We are happy with the information. The other thing that we added to day 2 was we're doing different video snippets, and we added the discussion, basically the talk. Because for a lot of white people in the room, the talk is about the birds and the bees. And so we played Grey's Anatomy snippet, and it's probably like 2 minutes.
2.5, yeah.
2.5 minutes, but very powerful.
Oh my God, it's so powerful.
It's still powerful. But there's a really good discussion that comes out of that. And I think it also brings to light when we give our own personal examples within the group and just our differing identities. That really, I think, makes the learning even more enriched for the participants, and they've actually shared that with us. Yeah. And we discussed, and Steve had mentioned this, about having to just sit in, predominantly white people, having to sit in the discomfort, having to sit and not wanting to move on to the solutions. And we've had one of our senior directors who was wanting to know, what's the solution? What do we do? What do we do? Right. And I'm thinking, we've talked about this. So basically, acknowledging for them and Steve giving his examples of how you just need to sit in it, and then we'll move. And now it takes us to day 3. Day 3, give a lot of feedback about how, throughout the entire thing, we're giving suggestions about YouTube videos, books they can read, articles, so that they realize it's not just about this one day thing. We're gonna hurry. Are we done?
No, we're
done. Keep going. Okay, so we suggest different books. The books, top 3 that we suggest is Policing Black Lives by Rob Maynard, Birth of a White Nation by Jacqueline Badalora, and White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. Those, if they could start there, we give them all sorts of other ones, but if they could start there, that would be great.
And really the curriculum for day 3 towards the end is the critical well-being model, where you kind of bring everything together in terms of what lens in which you are seeing the world from a micro and macro level, and what you can do in an application in terms of your work as a child welfare professional. And really it's about then looking at those big words around interrogating, questioning, calling people into conversations and what that looks like and what that means and why that's important, and how to create in micro ways and macro ways safety within an organization to have those conversations.
That's it, because we're going to run out of storage space.
No, we have like 3 minutes.
I know, but we're not going to use up the 3 minutes. They got stuff to do.
Okay, can I say one more thing? The end, where you're kind of doing that exercise where what are you going to do this week, what are you going to do next month, in the next 6 months, etc. Allow for some time for that, because sometimes people can get a little stuck in terms of the bigger picture. What can I do larger on a more macro or meso level? So allow for some time for that, and challenge them in their thinking around what are you going to do moving forward, and to help them understand that they're the tool.
Literally, also I try to break it down so that they're doing little things. Like if everybody is doing a little thing and doing their piece, there'll be huge movement. If basically everyone's thinking they got to go save the world, it's not going to happen, and they're going to feel overwhelmed. So really talking about day to day and looking at it through an equity lens, that they start to pick up on things, and that's how it's going to roll.
That's how it rolls.
We're out.